Hello, I'm Scott Bushnell, Advertising Creative Director for the Kennedy Center. I'm here in the Eisenhower Theater Green Room, one of my favorite spaces at the center. It's like a visual timeline where I can trace my 34 years working here. One of the most fun parts of my job is creating show posters. Posters can tell you a lot about a show or lure you in with an air of mystery. They are treasured mementos for performers and perfect souvenirs for adoring fans. Over the past 50 years, many amazing shows have passed through these halls. As part of our archival exhibit, we've created 50 It's in the Air, an installation of 5 decades of posters hanging in the Hall of States and Hall of Nations. Suspended from the ceiling are hundreds of original posters from our archives, spanning from the 1970s through today. Over the years, some famous artists have contributed to this iconic gallery, like Broadway poster designer Fraver, who I know better as my friend, Frank Verlizzo. I recently had a conversation with Frank about some of the memorable posters he has created especially for the Kennedy Center. I hope you enjoy our chat about what goes into making a memorable poster. Hi, Frank. It's so great to see you. We've worked together many times over the past 20 years, but not often in person. Of course, you're a famous Broadway poster designer. You go by Fraver, which is a combination of your first and last names. Even if people don't recognize your name, if they're any kind of Broadway fan, they're going to recognize your work. From The Lion King to the original posters for Sunday in the Park with George and Sweeney Todd. And of course, that brings us to the first project that we worked on together, which was the Kennedy Center Sondheim celebration in 2002. Our president, Michael Kaiser, devised an unprecedented tribute to composer and lyricist Stephen Sondheim that featured 6 new productions of his musicals with Broadway stars, a Japanese production of Pacific Overtures, a children's production of Into the Woods, and many other things. It was a huge project, and in fact, in your book, you devote a whole chapter to Sondheim. So can you talk a little bit about what it was like to get that assignment?
It was a very daunting assignment, obviously. When I remember a lot of folks came up from the Kennedy Center to meet my office, and I had no idea what the assignment was yet. So they were all explaining it to me, and it was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger as they were speaking, and I was starting to freak out a little bit. But once I calmed down, it was great. I had, I think they gave me almost the whole summer to come up with campaign ideas and poster ideas. And then I did my major presentation. There were a lot of people there, I guess. But I had the original assignment, interestingly enough, was that they wanted one poster to encompass the entire event. It was one of my concepts in my posters was the one that they wound up using with the 9 blocks, which then meant there were 9 other images to design. Once they saw that direction, they kind of abandoned the idea of just one image for the whole event. I also think it helped give them a much bigger or broader avenue for merchandising, which I think they had in mind. Yeah, it was amazing. It was strange revisiting shows I had done already. That was kind of fun. And it was really great working on the musicals I had never worked on before and never thought I was going to get a chance to work on. So that was pretty fabulous.
Next was my favorite Sondheim show, Follies, in 2011. Now, part of your origin story is that as a young designer at Pratt Institute, you had David Edward Byrd as your professor. And of course, he designed the iconic original poster for Follies with the cracked face of the showgirl. How was it to redesign a poster of your mentor and probably one of his most famous works?
I went into an initial panic, as I usually do anyway with any show, but more so with this because of David. But I decided I would just write to him. So I wrote him an email and told him about the assignment and how excited I was, but I was also hesitant. And he wrote me this lovely, funny, hysterical email back, telling me just to calm down and enjoy it. And, it's the most glamorous project you'll ever have. So you should really just enjoy every minute of it. And that's basically what I did.
So the last show I want to talk about is Little Dancer from 2014. That was a new musical from Lynn Ahrens and Stephen Flaherty based on Degas' sculpture, Little Dancer, age 14. So can you talk a little bit about your approach to this subject?
The main directive that I had gotten from Michael Kaiser and Max Woodward was they did not want to see the statue. But I wound up skirting around it, and many of the posters I designed used silhouettes of the statue or a different version of what you would recognize instantly as the statue. The piece that you guys wound up choosing has a silhouette of the statue within a painting of Degas' profile. The silhouette of that statue is so famous, you don't need to see the statue. So I thought that was pretty successful, and it was a gorgeous production after I had, when I finally see the show after all my work, it's amazing to sit there and think, wow, this is so gorgeous. I can't believe it. I wish I had known this. I wish I knew they were going to do that. I wish, so it's all in retrospect.
Well, Frank, it's been a lot of fun revisiting these projects that we've collaborated on over the years. They're all an important part of the Kennedy Center's history.
Being a part of the history of the Kennedy Center is beyond my wildest dream. I really, really have always loved the Kennedy Center. And being a part of the Kennedy Center since 2002 has really been wonderful. The projects have been amazing.
And here's hoping we can do more great work together in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.